First set, we are at a tie match at the drop. Double gen pop to avoid the deadlock. They do go down. There is a haste status effect. They do have to be careful here. The hatch is going to spawn momentarily. Deadhard could get them the distance to get it too. Shot.
Really smart play on the ace. Oh my god, getting shot through the window.
No longer have distortion, and they are gonna teleport here. I think they get there in time. Yes!
Oh, the grab! Yes! That is disappointing. This is be a 4-man out because.
Yeah, but they will be able to block this. Yo, getting caught on that. Ace coming with the body block. Oh, they were here.
Hey, what is up? It's Giltspire here, and I'm joined today by Jukebox. And welcome to Champions of the Fog, Round 4. How you doing today, Juke?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Pretty good. Cannot complain. We are kicking things off strong with Slow on the Nurse.
Should be an interesting game to watch then.
I mean, to say the least, especially as Slow immediately on top of these survivors here. A very, very unfortunate spawn to say the least. Slow, though, trying to identify who he's going to go for is going to be on the Meg, though that does look to be a life.
Yeah, really unfortunate spawn from the survivors here, spawning same side as the Nurse, which can happen sometimes on this map, but it's absolutely devastating for the survivors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm double checking right now, and yeah, that was Shroud of Binding, just the worst potential spawn I've seen in quite some time. A firecracker attempt there. Little tidbit, I have been doing that in pubs, and it crashes my game.
Dropping firecrackers?
Nope. Light burning the Nurse with a firecracker, mainly a flashbang. We tried to recreate it about 5 other times. Haven't been able to make it happen, but I did it twice in a row, and it crashed my game twice. It's an Unreal Engine crash.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yep, so, you know, for all those in pubs, beware of Nurse Firecracker crashing game.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be helpful, and hopefully that doesn't happen in custom games as well, because, as we know, the firecracker can actually be a pretty decent item to be using against the Nurse.
I mean, we like I said, we tested it for a while, me and the co-commissioner Shelby, and we just were not able to make it happen in customs. So my only thought is maybe there's something different in pubs than is customs in the way that Unreal Engine loads assets. But we do see Nia here trying to go back to this gen. We saw that gen tap actually, which I don't know. What's your thought at this point? Is gen tapping worth it?
I think it really depends on the situation. If you are worried... Oh, really unfortunate miss there from Slow. What I was going to say, what I think is important to note, if you can figure out if they have, like, Call of Brine or Overcharge, I think it is worth to tap it. Just because if they leave the gen, you don't want it, like, regressing at 200% or whatever the regression would be at the time.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
A lot of it gone. But if they're near it and you tap it, I mean, they can just kick it for even more regression than they had before.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the biggest thing. It's like, at this point, especially because most of my M1 killers are running Brutal Strength, like, if I see a gen it's being worked on, I'm going to kick it real quick for that 2.5 and then start to chase thereafter. I mean, it seems pretty effective.
Yeah, definitely. I think when it comes to gen tapping, it really just depends on where the killer is and what perks they're running, which can be kind of hard to tell sometimes. Speaking of perks, our survivors will be aware of Thanatophobia, Sloppy Butcher, and Pop Goes the Weasel all in the game right now, getting 3 of those perks out of the way. Also worth noting that there was no corrupt at the start of the game, if you guys didn't notice.
Yeah, I mean, I think on Nurse especially, it kind of makes sense. I will point out here, however, that this is a 3-gen map, and this is one of the few circumstances where I kind of think corrupt has value, because it lets you pick and choose the side of the map that you want to protect.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't really matter like which side you do on the survivor on because you'll have a 3-gen to work with, which is fantastic. And did I just see a gen regress far away there?
You did indeed, so that there is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Survivors there will be keenly aware of that fact. Also, having to be a lot less conscious about staying on the gen, but Slow knowing exactly where to go if that pop goes to Weasel.
Yeah, Slow forcing the survivors top side to hold this choke point here to make sure they can't get saved. He now knows where at least 2 survivors are, so he can just hold them here and deny them getting that hook save.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the strong parts of the chokes on ARP. They're just able to kind of sit there. We see Adam trying to figure out where they're going to go, not wanting to go to middle, and a really smart decision, too, as Slow now has to make a decision and will actually be dropping Chase.
Yeah, I think if you didn't notice, the Atom there had Overcome or Sprint Burst. I think it was Overcome, and he was able to get a lot of distance, which allowed the Nurse to not be able to down him quick enough and has to go back to hook. And they do get the hook save in time, which is going to be very important for these survivors. Waiting out the BT, light burning, trying to stop the tunnel out. We'll have to see what Slow wants to do here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for the ace, and I mean, there's really no reason not to here. They have that Scourge Hook right next to this hill. They have Pop in hand thereafter. Thanatophobia slowing things down by, what is it, 16.5%?
Yes, I think that is right. Or close to that, yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's 5.5 per.
5.5, yeah, you're right then, yep. You know, this gen, they're really trying to get this gen down to break this 3-gen on this side of the map, but they're really unable to, and now that's the 4th stack of Thana coming in. We see a Deli off the hook from the ace, which I gotta say I'm not too surprised about considering how much he wanted to burn the Nurse the Distractor to stop the tunnel. Probably had something to help him out there. Meg is getting reset somewhere, probably on the other side of the map, and so Slow most likely knows where most of our survivors are at this point, so he can use that game sense to continue in his game plan. Ooh.
Yeah, overall really good plays here by Slow, just pretty much stopping these survivors in their tracks, and I mean, this perk loadout, which I believe they know all 4 perks, there's Sloppy Butcher, there's Thanatophobia, Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, and Pop. Really strong overall build, though definitely much stronger on Nurse out of all the killers.
Oh yeah, for sure. I honestly would say that Pop has fallen way out of the meta on most killers considering how lackluster it appears. But on killers that have very fast chases like Nurse, I think Pop can actually get some decent value, especially on these 3-gen maps.
Also, I'm surprised, so give me your insight a little bit of why people are starting to be in the mindset of Pop is a lackluster perk, because if anything, it didn't get a buff nor a nerf. With the way that gens change, it's regressing the gens at the same rate as it did prior.
I think the main reason is because you're not getting that full 20% unless the gen is basically 99%. The rest of the time, you're not really getting that much on the gen. I remember a specific example of me working on a gen and getting it to like 90%, and then Killer popped it and it went down to like 80 something, which just like wasn't really enough for me to be like, yeah, this is a good perk anymore. It can be helpful, but I think Call of Brian just outclassed it at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. And just to confirm, so, because maybe I missed something when I was looking over the patch notes, is it that now it regresses of the total progression currently on the gen, so it's 99, then it's 25% of the 99, or is it 25% flat as it was prior?
No, it is 20% based on the current progression, meaning that you can never get a full... Yeah, no, it's a lot weaker than it used to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I honestly did miss that patch note saying that it's the current progression for some reason.
Yeah, that really hurt it, and so that's why we see a lot more Call of Brian now, is because the double speed that Call of Brian regresses gens at will honestly be more helpful than Pop in the long run.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. For some reason, that one definitely flew on the radar for me. I will say, however, these survivors doing a really great job of kind of working through all of this regression here with Pop Goes Weasel and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance getting a 3rd generator done. Ace, once again, going for this unhook. Not able to get the grab, though, and will end up going down once again.
Yeah, these survivors are in kind of a tough spot. They did a really good job getting rid of all the other gens and breaking the 3-gen on the main side, but now on Shack, if you haven't noticed yet, there is a 4-gen down here. And with Thanatophobia, a Death, Sloppy Butcher, Pop, and Scourge, these gens are going to go so slowly.
Well, the good news with the Death, at the very least, it does not count towards Thanatophobia anymore, so at max, there's going to be only 3 stacks instead of 4.
Yeah, that is kind of the bright side of the situation, considering they are now in a 1v3 and they're going to need to play out of their minds to clutch this up. I think it's definitely doable, but they need to make sure that they take all their chases so far away from these gens, and obviously Slow knows that that's the game plan and is not going to leave this gen spread.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, it's going to be work on separate gens and just try and really spread out the pressure here. Every time you take a hit, every time you take a chase, you go to the other side of the map, you reset time and time again.
Yeah, and that makes it especially tricky with Sloppy Butcher, because if you get a hit on someone, they need to go to the other side of the map and reset, and now your other survivor has a choice about whether they should hide like this Adam's doing and gets caught out, or working on gens, and it looks like the Adam's going to get caught and have to run to the other side of the map, so Slow is really, pun intended, slowing this game down, you know, screeching it to a halt, and they just don't have a lot of progression and pressure on these gens because of that Sloppy Butcher.
Yeah, absolutely, and we hear that attempt at healing there next to that pallet. Unfortunate timing, to say the least, though. Looks like Slow is actually going to pressure the healthy survivor. I mean, these sides need to make a commitment at some point in time, and I think they're going to have to make that choice soon.
Yeah, you know, I think Slow is really just trying to make sure that they're constantly pressured, so that if one of them, I mean, eventually these survivors are going to have to realize we need to get gens done, and then they're going to have to send an injured person down to do gens eventually, or else they're just not going to get these generators done, which is just putting them in an awkward position. Especially getting this down up here and, you know, getting another pop potentially from this, it could be pretty devastating.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We do see Slow once again kind of looking around, trying to see where these survivors are resetting as we've seen the Meg get healed. Adam, though, still not healed, though we do see scratch marks there in the jungle gym.
Looks like Slow is choosing to ignore it and going back to his gen spread, really making sure that these gens don't get done, although I don't think he has much to worry about considering the gens take 90 seconds now. With 2 stacks of Thana active, like, the progress is not going to be going that fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's 11% longer. It's one of the things that, like, when I saw Thanatophobia, Gift of Pain, and all the other gen slowdown perks either get a buff or not nerfed, I had a question like, I wonder if Behavior thought that one through.
Yeah, I think that they really took the feedback from Killer saying that gens were too fast, but they took it a little bit too far, maybe.
Yeah, see,
I think
would
the 90 seconds was enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think the 9 seconds was enough, and then actually lowering Thanatophobia to make it so that at max it still would have been, you know, maybe 100 seconds, because at max prior it was 96 seconds with 4 stacks, but now it is like 108 seconds, so it's about 18 seconds versus 16 seconds that it previously was.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if that's the change that they're going to make with the next update that comes out. As long as they also, like, you know, tone down Save the Best for Last and things like that to make up for recovery speed. There's like little tweaks like that because they changed the base kit so much that some of these perks do need tweaks. But it looks like we're going to be seeing another chase here on the side of the map and getting a very fast down on the Nia. We haven't seen Meg or Adam in a little while, so it's possible that they could be working on a gen. We'll have to see what they're up to in a second.
Yeah, for their sake, I definitely hope so, that they're doubling up on a gen right now, but even then, it's going to take quite a bit of time. But I think that at the very least, these survivors need to get one more gen, and that way gives their killer a little bit of a chance to even the odds.
Especially on a map like this where the RNG can be so heavy. I mean, getting 4K at 1 gen is definitely doable because you're always going to have a 3 gen. But you don't always get a 4 gen on this map, so holding a 4K 2 is actually pretty tricky because it's completely luck-based, right? Like, you don't know. Like, Slow got very lucky this game to get the 4 gen here, so he can definitely do a 4K 2, but let's say their killer comes in and gets a 3-1-3 split where there's a gen in the middle, and there's no 4 gen to hold, it's going to be a lot trickier to get that 4K 2.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We do see Survivor once again over here. The question is it the Meg or is it the Adam? If it was the Adam, this is probably going to be the swan song.
Looks like it's the Meg, but taking an M1 in the corner, there really isn't a lot of distance to be had here, so unless she has some crazy moves, looks like she's going to go down.
Yeah, now at this point, Slow is kind of looking around and seeing about if they need to worry about these gens. Honestly, with the way that, or if the location where the Meg is down, Slow could very easily just hook, camp, and then close hatch in the Adam's face without any concern.
Yeah, and it really doesn't matter where the doors are on this map either, because even if they're on the other side, on the main side, she could probably blink up there in time, you know, and not... as long as it's not like... maybe if it's full top, they could potentially open it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where these exit gate locations are. Of course, there's one there. Actually, no, they're both on the same side. Yeah, you can see the other one right there.
Yeah, they are both on the shack side of the map, meaning that, yeah, there is really nothing that Adam can realistically do here, unless he has a really good way of no-lighting the gates and getting them open. Oh, getting the save, and it looks like it's going to be renewal off hook, which could actually prove to be very beneficial in the current situation.
Yeah, and as Adam actually is now running to the other side of the map, trying to give the Meg an opportunity potentially for the hatch play, but Adam getting corralled back in towards the shack side. I think at the end of the day, this isn't going to do all too much.
Yeah, Adam really needs to make it to the other side of the map, and he unfortunately is zoned off into the edge of the map here and is going to get hooked.
And with that,
it's possible that they could have a gen somewhere with good progress, but I don't think that's the current case. You know, like you said, popping one more gen would be so beneficial to their killer match later on.
yeah, just unfortunate in regards to the RNG here. That 4th gen just so strong for Nurse here. And so this actually brings up an interesting point as we kind of see this match wind down. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but there are some interesting tiles that have started to spawn in Dead by Daylight.
Yes, the McMillan map's got, I don't even know how many tiles. I want to say it's at least 5, right? Oh, looks like we're going to be seeing a hatch play here. Who is going to win this out? You know, Killer usually has advantage here, but if they're not in the correct spot, the survivor can still leave. We've seen that in the past.
Oh, but unfortunately, not happening. There's an adrenaline too for a bit of extra spice, but it is not going to mean much.
Yeah, unfortunate. These survivors really did work as hard as they could, but unfortunately, you know, Nurse ARP with a 4-gen with this current build and use, it is just such a hard match to win. But they did play very well, and you know, showed a lot of. I mean, they had the strategy in mind, right? It was just ended up being a little bit too difficult to execute, but very well played on both sides here. And you know, Slow's going to secure a 4K at 2 gens, giving a pretty sizable lead here.
Yeah, no, it's going to be 24-6 in Monarchy's favor. So really well played here on both sides. With that being said, we are going to be loading up the next lobby. This time, Survivor Bots is going to be killing against Monarchy's Survivor team. But before we go, any last-minute thoughts here, Juke?
Well, do you mind telling us what killer is going to be being played next round?
Yep, so next round we are going to be seeing a Nurse. So we are getting a bit of a Nurse mirror match.
I think Survive with Bots really has to hope for some good luck on their side here. If they can get, you know, a decent spawn and some decent gen spread, I think this is definitely doable. It's just going to really depend on, you know, I mean, maybe they get some insanely fast chases. I have no idea. I have actually never seen their Nurse player, so maybe they have an insanely good Nurse player and they can clutch this up. We'll have to see.
Yeah, not outside the realm possibility to say the least. But with that being said, we are going to be back in just one moment. As a reminder, though, before we do go, we here at Champions Fog, we do not have a sponsor. So you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors here today. So that as they watch, all the bits they tip, all the subs that you buy, all go to supporting Champions of the Fog and the $525 prize pool that these competitors are duking it out for. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. All right, and we are back. This time with Survive with Bots Killer piling the nurse against Monarchy's Survivor team. Juke, what are your thoughts here in regards to if they can make it happen? It's a nurse once again. Nurse can do a lot of things, but do you think they can get the 4K before 3 gens are completed?
Before 3 gens are completed, it seems like a nearly impossible task. I think this is definitely like a tieable situation with the correct setup, but they would really need to play out of their minds and maybe get a few mistakes on the Survivor side if they want to make this work. But it looks like we got these 4-gen bottom side just like last game, so I mean the tie's looking pretty realistic now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that you kind of mentioned before is, 4-gen kind of needs to be a thing. And as we're kind of searching around for these survivors, I imagine they're going to be kind of playing it slow. Something that I was trying to allude to, but we'll bring up again now is, what are your thoughts on the if and when of seedable maps?
I think seedable maps would be one of the greatest things to happen to the competitive scene. I think that it is really important because, again, it is very frustrating to lose your games to random stuff that you can't control about the maps, tile setups, generator spawns, and so if both teams have to play on the same seed, it just makes it so much more fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
and we
good
see.
Chase.
I was about to say, dodge the firecracker, really quick down, and going to be getting a hook here. Looking around though for a hook, and will take the closest one here. Going to be going back to this gen. I don't know if protecting this gen here is the right move.
Yeah, like I said, they have the 4-gen on the shack side, and also important to note is that they have that gen in the top middle area right there. That's kind of connected to the other gens. It's not a 5-gen, but it's not far away, so the nurse could technically blink to patrol that. So, I mean, again, if they play out of their mind, they could hold a loose 5-gen like that on nurse. So, yeah, I think it's important to come shack side like she is right now, but oh no, oof. That was the glue. That was the glue holding that main side middle gen together. So it's gonna be a bit trickier now.
Yeah, just a little bit. We do see the hit on Adam there, trying to go with that flashlight blind to burn the nurse, unable to do so though. And there's another attempt. Once again, a little bit too short, but the nurse did not reach for the down.
Yeah, save on the tap other side of the map and instantly healed up. That was a very fast heal. And also, again, worth noting, these survivors are aware of Sloppy Butcher, Thanatophobia, and Poppy was the Weasel yet again.
Yeah, there's still that 4th unknown perk, but we'll see if it is going to be known momentarily. And there it is. There is Scourge Hook Pain Residence.
Yep, same build we saw from Slow last game. I think this is a decent one. I think that we'll be seeing this quite a lot from nurses.
Yeah, it's just so fascinating how the meta shifted from a competitive standpoint, especially based on, the do's and don'ts of corrupt intervention now, where that fourth perk slot just been opened up to pretty much every killer.
Yeah, I mean, it really is just going to depend on the map and the rule set about when you want to run Corrupt and when you don't want to run it. I think the most realistic thing is, like, Cold Tower Nurse probably won't be running Corrupt too much anymore.
Yeah.
You might see it sometimes if they're not. I mean, it's still a risk, right? Because Corrupt Intervention is the only thing stopping survivors from hopping on the gen that they spawn on instantly and just pressuring you from the start of the match. So I think Corrupt is still a very key component in stopping early gens from getting done, but I think Nurse can make it work without it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, the 115 killers or setup killers are definitely going to still want Corrupt or, on 3-gen maps like this, as I mentioned earlier. I think that's still in the conversation. But yeah, I think like Nurse, for example, especially on smaller maps or even maps like this, as we're seeing these very quick chases. And I'm surprised there. I'm fairly certain the Nurse saw what I saw, which was a survivor peeking around that corner, just not going for it, instead trying to pressure this unhook.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to hold their 3-gen on the main side here where the hook is because, I mean, they've split up your gen spread so much that they might just be playing for points now. Although it looks like Save is going to be coming in on main side, so they're losing a lot of pressure here, and they need to have this chase be rather quick if they want to keep this pressure going.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, though, unable to get the hit there around the corner. Nia just out of range. And looks like we are going to be continuing on this chase. Just, I think at this point, the nurse may be getting a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah, definitely a struggle to be holding all these gens together. These survivors are being very efficient on them and tackling the correct generator each time. They're really doing a good job communicating which gen that they need to get on to make it all happen. But really fast end to the chase here, downing the Nia on the Shack side here, and just with that gen popping, the gen spread is now so much that this hook can't really be camped too well anymore.
Yeah, at this point, it very much is a 2-2 split here, so it's pretty much guaranteed that these survivors are going to be able to get the 4th gen to confirm the win for set number 1 in favor of Monarchy. The question now remains, though, will the nurse be able to get the 4K to keep the match point within reach?
Man, it's definitely doable. They have 2 injured at the moment. That's 2 stacks of Fana, and they have a decent amount of hook states. I think they really need a tunnel out, like really badly.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it right now, I believe we are actually fresh hook on each individual survivor, so no one currently at risk of death hook.
Yeah, kind of an interesting strategy. We don't see that much, especially from Nurse, where it's so easy to tunnel out the first person you hook and just get him out of the game for a 1v3. They decided to play it, spreading out the pressure a little bit more, which in some ways does slow the generators down more than tunneling does. But then you have to deal with the 4v1 for a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, I remember listening to a Scott Jund video just yesterday about, well, killers tunnel people up because it's more efficient. Like, yeah, that's exactly why, and why we see it time and time again in comp, especially now as only 1 BT is available to these teams. It does become a little bit easier, and, ooh, looks like a random second blink there. I think potentially worried about the light burn, but Adam will go down in Shack.
Yeah, doing a really good job at the corner of the map with the flashlight, just trying to keep the nurse distracted for as long as possible. They really just want to get these gens done because, potentially getting escapes here could be very beneficial for the match point.
Yeah, absolutely. Second hook here on Adam, the Adam. And once again, Nurse trying to look around and find what gens are being worked on. We saw that one in the back left-hand corner being worked on before. Let's see if they're able to get there in time. And looks like they might be able to cut this Claudette off.
Yeah, pressuring these gens, they've actually managed to slow the game down a little bit. And I think that's partly due to Thanatophobia, Sloppy Butcher. Again, such a strong combo, especially on a killer like Nurse that can injure survivors time and time again, very rapidly. Just keeping the pressure going, which is exactly what they need to stay in this.
Yeah, and we see them back at this LT wall. We saw Nia kind of keeping him here for a while before. Let's see if the Claudette's able to do the same. Though going to the corner, Nurse not falling for it, will get the down. However, there is the 4th generator, and it now comes down to this last one. Will the Nurse be able to get the 4K? It's 3 survivors now on death hook.
Yeah, a lot of these survivors really being pressured here. 2 of them being injured, 1 of them being on hook, only 1 healthy. They need to reset this and play this slow because, again, that's exactly what they're doing. We see Nia's getting reset off somewhere. It's really tricky because with so many survivors on death hook, you gotta play this safe. You cannot lose. Losing even 2 survivors here could be devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see the Nia there jumping off that gen, playing it very safe, much like what you said. And right now, score is pretty tight, 24-32 in Monarchy's favor. I definitely think it is not an impossible hill to climb for this Nurse to at least get close to a tie set.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really, really important here for the long run. They really want to make sure that they get some set points out of this in some way, whether it's through the match or through the games, and so they really want to make the score as close as possible. They are attempting to camp out Claudette here, which could work.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you see what I see, but that Nia wasn't there coming in for the unhook. That Nia was there to proc kinship.
Oh, no.
Yep, that bar ain't moving and it won't be for quite some time. However, Nurse on top of Survivor, who is on death hook, so this could be a huge play here, and down goes the tap.
Very quick 2-tap onto the tap here, and, just with a survivor on hook and now another survivor on hook, this is what we like to call a snowball situation. And they can really take this to the mile, and that's the kill as well. And with Claudette being on Deathlick, if they manage to stop whatever gen has the most progress and pop it, and then go and tunnel up the Claudette, this could be the 4K at one gen that they were looking for.
Yeah, I think you're right, and we do see the knee here. However, unfortunately, not on Deathhook. They also did leave a gen with quite a lot of progress earlier, so this Pop Goes Weasel is going to pretty much go unused. Nia, though, down very quickly. A beautiful blink there by the nurse.
Yeah, maybe she's hoping to get a Scourge hook here, but it doesn't look like she's going to get there in time as the last one will pop. But these are some good gates for our nurse. I think this is definitely a 4K at 0 gens kind of situation if she plays this correctly. I think that she got very lucky with these door spawns, and this would really help close the gap and score.
Yeah, honestly, I think the nurse should just kind of stick by the hook. I don't think there's even a reason to really, you know, go forward into this area, though they do find that survivor there on the left, and I believe the Claudette heading to the right as well. So, you know, really good finds here. However, all they need to do is just kind of hold the middle, injure them, force them back into main side, and call it a day.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she's trying to do. These survivors are trying to get on either side of the middle here so that they can go down, and it looks like one of them was actually able to get past, which means both of them are going to get past. The blink getting swallowed by the tile is really unfortunate in this situation. Can they get to the hook in time before the save comes in?
Adam trying to do just that. There's that flashlight. See the scratch marks over by the exit gate. Nurse Cena 2 has to make a choice between the exit gate and the unhook.
Trying to catch the Adam out here with a nice little flick, and it did kind of work. They managed to get the hit, and he's going to be trying to leave out the exit gate. They're just going for their 2 out here, but he is getting zoned back towards the hook, and I think that this could be a potential 3K.
Honestly, a 3K 11 hook here is still a very good showing. They're only losing out on 1, technically 2 points, as the survivor does get an additional point in favor of them.
Yeah, but really well played here from Survive with Bots Nurse player, and you know, just you got it, you know, closing the score out, you know, making it not so out of grasp to get the whole game here. So, you know, even though Monarchy won the set, I think the war is definitely not over for Survive with Bots.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But with that being said, that there will be the end of set number 1. Monarchy walking away with the W. But we are going to be getting set up for set number 2 right now, where we're going to be seeing Survive with Bots killing once again on Suffocation Pit. You know, a back-to-back choke point maps here. But this time, we're going to be seeing the judge, the jury, the executioner. Hope y'all are excited, because I know I am, but before we do go, we are going to take a quick break. Before we do, however, we are going to mention that we are partnered with Stream for a Cause. Stream for a Cause is a nonprofit organization based here in the United States. They support a litany of different causes, from Going Green initiatives, refugees in Ukraine, LGBTQA plus community, and a whole lot more. So guys, haven't already, make sure to check out Champions for a Cause, our fundraiser that we spun up with them. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. All right, and we are back. This time we've survived with bots on the suffocation pit. This time, though, we are going to be seeing the Executioner. What's your thoughts here, Juke, on Executioner on Suffopit?
Definitely not his best map, but you can make it work. I mean, I think he's good on most McMillan maps because of the way the tiles are, and I don't know how the new tiles are going to be from actually now that I say that, but I think you know, it's awkward. He's an awkward to play on this map because when you get cages, it's always going to go furthest location away, which is, you know, depending on where you down them, it could send them out of your 3-gen, or if you do it correctly though, you could send them into your 3-gen, which is a pretty unique concept that I think they might be trying to take advantage of here.
Yeah, I would definitely imagine so, especially as we do see the Corrupt Intervention, like I said, on 3-gen maps like Suffocation Pit, ARP, Sanctum of Wrath. I really do think that, you know, Corrupt Intervention is going to be such an important perk even still, as we do find this really early chase, and this actually could end Corrupt Intervention within the first minute here. Trying to go for these pot shots will get the hit, and that there will be the end of Corrupt. About like a minute 5 seconds there in.
Yeah, I think Corrupt really did his job there, preventing them from hopping on these gens that spawn far away immediately, and then the down came in so quick, you know, zoned off in the corner of the map, really good snipe there, and they've got good pressure now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, be kind of looking around here, and they're trying to identify what side of the map they want to stick on. I will say there's a bit of a 4-gen here, so I would not be surprised if they try and stick main side.
Yep, and with Thanatophobia in play that the survivors are aware of now, you know, getting some good pot shots off here, even if you don't commit to chase, could be beneficial for Thanatophobia stacks, although, now that I say that, Claudette here does have a medkit, so they might want to commit to this chase. We're going to have to see whether they want to defend their 3-gen on the shack side and defend the hook, or just commit up here on main side.
Yeah, Pyramid Head here really trying to get these hits through the walls, playing a very dangerous gamble to say the least. And I don't know if you see what I see, but that gen there is highlighted in yellow. Could be one of two things, either a Call of Brine or Eruption.
Yeah, both are perks that we've seen a lot with the recent update, and I'm really happy to see both of them because I think that they are both good for different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, especially now as you brought to my attention to change to Pop that for some reason just flew under the radar for me. You know, before yesterday I was running Pop and Eruption, kind of thinking maybe Eruption Call of Brine instead.
Eruption Call of Brine is something that we saw yesterday when Rue and I were casting it. We saw that combo, you know, at least a few times throughout the couple of games I was there for it, which is, you know, it's cool to see. I like seeing the shift in the meta, just new things and experimenting, especially in the early stages.
Yeah, absolutely, and beautiful hit there by the Executioner. Just knowing exactly where the Claudette was going to be. We do hear them behind this wall here, getting that quick break. Probably going to go for a vault here. No! Going for the punishment, and once again, a beautiful snapshot.
Yeah, it's always really fun to see how Pyramid Head players play his kit, because you can play him so zoney where you just like never shoot until you absolutely have to and just zone them in pallets and stuff, or as you know, this player is doing right here, he is going for so many shots, and the greatest part is he's actually landing them too.
Yeah.
So this is just a really impressive showing here.
Now, I will point out at this point, because these survivors are probably aware of it, that there is in fact Call of Brine, regressing those gens by 200% apiece. So I actually have to ask a question here. Thoughts on Call of Brine versus Overcharge? In my opinion, thinking Call of Brine the better option, both for information as well as just flat regression.
Yeah, you know, when the changes got released and then they nerfed it the first time, I still thought it was going to be better than Call of Brine because 300%, you know, it's still pretty good. Then when they nerfed it again, I was thinking, like, why would anyone run this over Call of Brine? And I think you're absolutely right. I think Call of Brine is just the better option. Getting the grab on the Claudette, unfortunate that she couldn't make the pallet back, hooking her back in the 4-gen here, and wow, the pressure is on. These survivors are kind of sweating it.
That there warms my killer heart, that it does. I am a fan of grabs, and that was perfectly executed to avoid the potential borrow time.
Yeah, you know, it was just a really unfortunate circumstance to happen for our survivors, and the killer is deciding to camp, which is honestly the best thing to do considering they don't have a lot of gen pressure. There's not much that they can do right now. They have to come in for the save, and you know, he's just pressuring them. And with our Claudette being tormented here, you know, even with the DS in play, even though we know DS doesn't do as much as it used to, it can still be very good in certain situations. But without that DS with the Torment there, it's completely countered. There's not a whole lot Claudette can do to get out of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. However, want to kind of keep an eye there on the timer once again. And it ain't moving, friends. That there is Kinship once again on Keeperly.
Yeah, it feels like they always seem to have it on the survivor they need to have it on, because last game it was very beneficial, and this game it's going to prove very beneficial because, you know, having a kinship active in the 3-gen is the perfect scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's really forcing the Pyramid Head to make a choice here. We got to see the gears turning in real time. Wait, do I go for the gen? Do I stick by the hook? What do I do here?
Yeah, I think with the lack of gen pressure they have on the side of the map, the Pyramid Head can still camp this and just wait out the timer. I think that is the right call to make here, and I'm curious to see if these survivors are going to come in for the save or just try to pressure out a gen.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this situation they kind of need to, but we do see Adam trying to come in, Pyramid Head blocking them out. However, there's the unhook attempts, trying to go for the fake. Not happening, though. They're going to need another survivor to come in, and it just is not going to happen.
Yeah, that is, you know, not a great circumstance to be in if you're the survivors. Just, you know, going for the save just slightly too late. You know, there could be a multitude of reasons why that happens, and unfortunately they don't even get a gen for it. So, you know, again, this pressure from this Pyramid Head is just perfect.
Yeah, it really is. Another beautiful pot shot there on that window. We saw Claudette fall to that as well, and now it is Nancy's turn to be in chase. They do finish up that last gen on that side, trying to get in for another pot shot, unable to make it happen, and Nancy will get some pretty good distance here.
Yeah, you know, that might be a situation where going for a shot too much could hinder you, but he did have the Nancy zone, so it makes sense. Getting another tag on the tap here is going to apply 2 stacks of Thanatophobia, and we're just going to go back to our 3-gen here and probably call O'Brien whatever gen needs to be call O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense here. Call O'Brien just going to slow down the game. This where it kind of is interesting, though, 3-gens, where Call O'Brien versus Overcharge kind of does have a bit of an argument. As Overcharge, you can't, like, just, you know, drive by gen tap anymore. With Call O'Brien, you can do that, but it's that flat 200% off the bat that really does it for me.
Yeah, especially since Overcharge, like, you can still tap the gen and then hit the skill check on the run.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I don't know why that's in the game, personally. I don't think that should be
I think
there.
it's
I think
ping.
that's one of the few... Yeah, it might be. It feels like it's holding the perk back. But yeah, I think Overcharge is just one of those things you're not going to run unless you're running it with Call O'Brien.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm pretty sure, banned in this league, correct?
Yep, as of right now, that is a ban combination. We had some arguments for it being unbanned. Like, no, I think not.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see for sure, but I completely understand the decision to ban the combination because a 300% regression speed is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, we do see Call O'Brien activating in the distance. I think there's also another reason why I do like Call O'Brien is that additional information that you do not get off of, you know, Overcharge if they were to hit the skill check, where you're guaranteed to eventually get a skill check with Call O'Brien active.
Yeah, it is a really good form of information, and on a 3-gen maps, information is pretty much key. Currently, the Pyramid Head knows the relative location of all 3 survivors, and that really shapes the game plan here for maps like this.
Yeah, the question is, can they get a down in a quick manner? We see these survivors time and time again taking chase, going to the other side of the map. We do see the Nancy get healed up. The question is, was that a self-heal, or was that someone else healing them?
Yeah, I think potentially all of the survivors could be on the shack side of the map, but never mind. As I say that, they actually did sneak one up here, and they're really trying to get this gen done, but Call O'Brien just eating away at it. I think this is the same progress we saw that before it was kicked before, so that just shows you how much time it takes to get all that progress back that you lost from it.
Yeah, especially with Thanatophobia, that little bit of slowdown, 5.5%, is very, very strong on those 90-second gens.
Yeah, just a nice, just even the 5.5% is it's just enough to make it even like mentally annoying. You know, you don't like looking at that red bar when you're working on the gen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a game on Midwich earlier today. I was kind of playing pubs and person post games. Like, it felt like watching paint dry. I was playing Plague, so you know, just the casual 108-second gen.
Oh, you know, just all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Thanatophobia really forces survivors to decide if they want to cleanse or not versus Plague, which is like always a really tough choice to make. But yeah, you know, just the new gen speed with Thanatophobia is pretty good now, and I'm you know, like, I think it might be too much, but at the same time, like, hey, I'm not super complaining when I'm playing Plague, you know?
Exactly. But, you know, that's the exact reason why we currently do not allow multiple gen slowdowns, because these scenarios alone are just gruelingly long, where we see the kind of back and forth where survivors are forced to, you know, really play aggressively, the killer's forced to play very defensively, and these type of matches can go on for like 20 minutes apiece. And I was like, you know, I kind of don't want to see Gift of Pain or Dying Light plus Thanatophobia, because that would be just a little bit miserable.
It would be, yeah, it would be pretty miserable to watch. And I think this right here is a perfect situation of why Pyramid Head can struggle on maps like these, because he does not have the kind of power that allows him to down a survivor before they make the middle and run through the choke point to the other side of the map. You really need to zone them off and make sure that they stay on the very top of the map before you take them down. But like just like this, for example, right? Like he zoned the zoning was such that the Nancy could just make the middle, and now he can't get that down because he can't leave his 3-gen.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to make it work.
It very much is a situation of, at some point, you just have to bite the bullet and commit and know that you're probably going to lose the gen, because they're just getting bit and bit and bit of generator progress. And yeah, Thanatophobia slowing them down, but they're healing pretty much instantaneously. I have to be willing to bet they have someone with a healing build set up on the other side of the map, while Nancy and Tap here are just, you know, touching the gens here and there.
Yeah, most likely that is the case, because, you know, you just, as a survivor, you just have to play this situation so slowly, which is what you were saying about these games lasting so long, because you can theoretically deny a down for a very long time, although, as I say this, Nancy is not in the most favorable position here, but looks like that missed shot is going to cost a lot, is going to take some distance, and I don't think you can commit to this without losing your gen.
Yep, no, that's the exact issue here. Nancy, you know, will be able to get away. Though, I think what I was saying earlier, where you just have to make a choice and commit at some point, the Pyramid Head is doing just that. So we are going to probably see that generator pop off here, while the Nancy will end up going down at this pallet.
Yeah, I think Pyramid Head knew that he could take this chase because it was dead zoned already. And also, this refers back to what I said at the start of the game about interesting cage interactions, where getting a down here allows you to cage them into your 3-gen.
Yeah, indeed, and we'll see if that is the case, as Slow is indeed going to be caged over to the main side. And we'll see if these survivors go for the uncage or just try and crank out the gen, and there it is.
Yeah, and as the gen pops, we see that haste status effect, knowing full well that that is no one escapes death, allowing this killer to get those one-shot downs. And with both doors being on this side of the map, with your cage being up here, this is probably the most favorable position he could have asked for.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, this is new NOED, so survivors are going to be able to see the aura of the totem here as time does go on.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be especially dangerous in these in competitive, because of the communication you can have and be like, you know, here's where I'm taking chase, get on that totem, and they could probably time it correctly to the point where, like, maybe it can't even be used in situations like these, because they could just get right on it, although...
Wait 1 second.
There.
Wait 1 second.
This is going to be insanely devastating for these survivors. They had the choice between the uncage and the totem, and it looks like they went for the totem first. But you know, Pyramid Head maybe realizing something was a little bit fishy. You know, they were working gens on this side of the map. Why did it take them so long to get that save? And checking on that totem was the perfect game sense moment. You know, securing a 3K out of this very slow situation. Very well played from Pyramid Head here.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw, like, the cage, I was like, wait a second, we saw scratch marks, there's the cage. Why no uncage? And that is exactly why.
Yeah, really unfortunate situation to be in if you're the survivors. Getting the 3K 9 stage here on the suffocation pit from the Pyramid Head. Definitely doable on the killer side of things. I think they can still take the set point. We're going to have to just see how Monarchy plays this on their killer side. Very, very well played on both sides here. They played a very slow, patient game, and you know, I think this is a good result for both sides here. I think both sides can be satisfied with their play here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But with that being said, we are going to be switching sides one last time. Monarchy this time will be killing as the artist against SurviveIfBot's Survivor team. But before we do go, we'll remind y'all once again today that you, yes you, here today are our sponsors. All the ads that you watch, all the bits that you tip, all the subs that you buy, all go to supporting James the Fog and our $525 prize pool that these competitors are duking it out for. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. right, and we are back for the final trial of this match. And we are going to be seeing Slow's Artist against Survive with Bots Survivor team. Juke, thoughts on the Artist?
Personally, I think Artist is one of those killers that is very similar in strength to Pyramid Head. I think that they are very roughly the same on the tier list. I think Artist got a lot better with the recent patch in comparison to Pyramid Head, and also this is one of Artist's best maps as well, so I think this was a very good countertake on Monarchy's part.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love Artist. The playstyle between Artist and Pyramid Head is very similar. Also, seeing this new tile here, the kind of like the L column. I'm not even sure what to call this freaking one, but we do see that hit there, injure on the Claudette, as well as some aura reading from the baby shoes.
Yeah, and this is just not the situation you want to be in if you're Survive with Bots, but it looks like they're going to come in and take the hit, which could prove very beneficial, but the problem is that the lack of distance you get from this could potentially be a two-slick situation, although it looks like they're just opting to take their one hook and not get too greedy about it. You know, when you're playing against an Artist, it's really important to have your flashlight user, like, around at all times.
Yeah. And we do see these scratch marks as well as blood here. So one question I have for you here, you know, Artist prior to the update, we saw a lot of Ruin as they're able to camp hook while also pressuring gens from afar. With the new change to Ruin, do we still think we're going to see that on Artist depending on like the point in the match we are in?
It's honestly really hard to tell. Artist has thrived off the Ruin Penimento combination for so long. And so it would be very weird seeing them without it, but at the same time, Ruin did take a hefty nerf, and I don't know how to feel about Ruin on certain killers. Like, I don't even know if I'd want to run on anyone, but if it's any killer that could run it, it's Artist for sure.
Yeah, Ruin is so interesting to me at this point because there really is so little value that you get, especially if you get those early kills, which Comp is known for. We do see the flashlight user trying to light burn the swarm of crows off of Claudette, will do it successfully.
Yeah, and with the balance landing, she is long gone, making it to the other side of the map for free. And this Artist really has to decide which chase she wants to take here. And it looks like she's going to opt to continue onto the Claudette. We're probably going to be seeing some gens pop soon as well with this chase.
Yeah, I would imagine so. We see more flashlights there at a distance. This Jill just doing everything within her power to keep the survivor off of the ground. However,
That was scary.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was like, okay, well, I don't think they can get the flashlight through that gap. And then like, oh, I am wrong.
Yeah, just slightly off on the timing. Couldn't quite get the adjustment, but that is an angle, and that is good to know.
Yeah, exactly. We do see Adam there still injured. Keep in mind, these survivors are keenly aware of Thanatophobia once again. I'd be willing to bet Thanatophobia going to be one of the most used perks that we see in comp going forward.
Absolutely, with the 90-second gens and then the added time of Thanatophobia, even on killers that can't get a ton of injury pressure, even having 2 people injured is pretty worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, 1 person on hook, 1 person in chase is not uncommon to see on the majority of killers, and then you start throwing in the likes of Legion or even Plague. And I do say Legion because we do allow Eerie Button here, and we saw the other day how powerful Legion can be when you can just eat through pallets.
Yeah, Legion is definitely a killer that is, you know, kind of slept on certain maps. I would consider running them on certain maps too, and it looks like
We're going to be seeing the hook come in, and it's not going to be quite a trade, but now we have 4 stacks of Thanatophobia and an attempt for a tunnel out here, which could be very beneficial for Monarchy.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 1 BT in the game. The question is, was it on the Jill? Though I don't think it's even going to matter. Even if it was, the Claudette gets the BT, but just gets 0 distance.
Yeah, and this is why I think Artist did get quite the buff in this patch, and it looks like we're going to be seeing the DS. We know DS doesn't give a lot of distance anymore, but they didn't drop a bird before the DS. Yeah, it's only 3 seconds now, but look at the distance she managed to take with that.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we're also going to see a potential bounce landing once again from the Claudette, trying to get those crows, and we do see her back at the window. Imagine bounce landing going to be activated here, and Claudette will be off to the races, though. Looks like they're taking their time.
Yeah, Slow really wanted to get this tunnel out here, you know, as we were saying earlier about, you know, the 1v3 being so beneficial, but this could be potential for losing some gens here, although they do have a bit of leeway with all of the Thanatophobia stacks in play.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. The way in which those crows work in their flight path, they follow the curvature of that altitude, of the landscape until after that flight path and just dipping down. It's why it's so painful on certain areas of this map.
Yeah, Claudette doing an amazing job too, just avoiding these birds altogether, predicting even through walls where they're going to end up being shot from. Although this is just kind of a zoned off position and there's not much you can do here, but very excellent run here from the Claudette and well played on her part for keeping the artist busy for so long.
Yeah, absolutely, but this will be the last hook for her and the first kill of this game. Thanatophobia, though, still with 2 stacks, slowing down these gens by 11%.
Yeah, I mean, I think Thanatophobia definitely is the MVP of the game right now when it comes to the perks, because it's just slowing these gens down so much. If it weren't for Thanatophobia, I think we might have potentially seen 1 or 2 of the gens pop. Although now that I say that, another one pops off in the distance, but, only 2 gens pop for that kill, and I think partly that's due partly to Thanatophobia.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see that killer instinct there, and looks like the Meg unable to really get a lot of distance. We're going to see that crow go back down once again, and we do see that aura reading. The baby shoes are very strong when used appropriately.
Yeah, it has become one of the most popular artist add-ons in competitive for the reason of just there's no 50-50s anymore. It literally just comes down to, I see you, and you either run into me or I shoot you, and there's nothing you can do. So,
yeah.
Very strong add-on for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, I think, needing to utilize things like the flashlight, things like the firecracker to the best of your ability. I'm actually surprised not to see things like flashbangs even being used against the likes of artists.
Yeah, I learned from a friend of mine that whenever he scrims artists, his team always runs a head-on flashbang build.
Interesting.
Which I think is really interesting. Yeah, because you can use head-on for your benefit, even mid-chase. In rule sets that allow lucky break as well, getting hit and then running to a locker, quick and quiet into the locker, get the head-on and the flashbang out of that, it can be very beneficial. So I thought that was a really cool concept to hear from him. But yeah, flashbang definitely is a great perk to utilize against artists.
And unfortunately, though, Jill just unable to really do much there with that flashlight in hand. And we will see another hook. I will say these survivors still not going down without a fight. 2 gens have been completed, but they are going to need to get a 2-man out in order to claim the set point. And right now, things are not looking good.
Yeah, having a death at 3 gens is very hard to recover from, especially on a 3-gen map like Suffocation Pit. This artist is doing an amazing job pressuring the survivors and keeping a high amount of Thanatophobia stacks, even with, I'm pretty sure that was a deli that we saw. Although they are managing to still get gens done, these survivors are not out of the game yet. They are still in it.
Yeah, no, their hopes have not been dashed, and looks like Meg here on the LT wall will not get faked out by the artist. Beautiful job there, but now the crow on that L wall. The Meg here going to have to be very careful not to go down.
Yeah, only now giving the hit, very delayed hit there, especially for an artist on that kind of tile, so very well played from the Meg, and she's able to take distance onto the other side of the map. We'll have to see how this gets played out, although with that pallet drop, she is forcing herself to get hit by these birds, and is going to go down because of that.
Yeah, just the amount of zoning that artist is able to do is something just so unique to her. And, Slow here doing an amazing job of showing off what artists can do and the lethality that she holds.
Yeah, the amount of pressure she can have with survivors, even when a survivor is hooked and just shooting birds to gens, she's got such good zoning and she's got such good map pressure. She is definitely one of those killers that, if played correctly and mastered, is going to be very viable in high-level situations.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Adam taking the hit there. Once again, those baby shoes just given so much raw value, and Slow just kind of seeing where the crows are. Adam knowing that it's down, and Slow not even having to go for the dire crow will get the down anyways.
Yeah, just going from one target to the next, taking hook state after hook state, and again, this is one of those situations where pressuring each survivor individually and not going for another tunnel out is beneficial because of pressuring them off of gens with Thanatophobia and things like that. This is a fresh hook still, but leaving and interrupting gens and Thanatophobia stacks and all that is worth it in the long run.
Yeah, especially as we did see a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance go off right there, so gain some passive regression. I believe their only regression perk that we've seen thus far.
Yeah, it seems to be all that they have needed, though, up to this point. Just the Nanophobia and Scorchick putting in the work that they need to stop these gens from getting done, because their chases have been pretty fast.
Yeah, and seeing those crows go out, we did see that swarm of crows there on the Meg once again. And Dire, with a little bit of a mind game, will get the M1 on the Megan.
Yeah, really fast M1. Meg trying to take distance, although she's stuck to the same tile, which is going to probably put her in a zone position. Here we see the same situation we've seen so many times at the pallet. Do you double back into her, or do you get hit by the bird? There is no choice there.
Yeah, even without baby shoes, that was pretty much a lose-lose scenario of, okay, I'm going to try and fake the bird, but all Slow needs to do is like, okay, if you want to go into the pallet, then I'll send it, but unless you do that, then I'm just going to smack you in the face.
Yeah, Slow so close to securing this set point, and these survivors have got to be feeling the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, all they need is another kill, I think, because it was a 3K with 9 hooks, and we are right now 1 hook away, so if they find a survivor who can give 2 hook states, they just need to camp them, and that's that.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that he has he hooked every survivor at least once in this game?
I want to say so that there alone might be
Yeah.
all that they need.
Yeah, I think one more hook will secure it, even though it is the same amount of stages, just because of it being all fresh hooks. Jill Knight getting that sprint first step just when she needed it and taking the distance she needs. This needs to be a good chase.
Yeah, looking at the scorecard right now, you are correct that every single survivor has been hooked. So yeah, all they need now is 1 hook, and that is that for Survive with bots.
Yeah, pressure has got to be really on for the survivors here, and getting the hit even without the aura reading. TL Well has proven to be so strong for the artist. Very hard tile to run versus her.
Yeah, all you need to do is just make sure that you have the right placement there for the Dire Crows. Slow trying to go for the sneaky hit at the window. Jill, though, not fearful in the slightest, but will be going down here in just a moment.
Yeah, she really... Wow, what a pallet stun from the Jill here. Although, with 2 birds up, gets in the locker. Does she have enough distance to get away from this? I don't think she does, but that was very well played on her part. A lot of mind games and some wacky movement going on there.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
and it looks like... Oh, I was like, are they able to pick them up? Because, yeah, the pallets still are a little bit bugged out to where they're unable to get the pickup if the survivor does not move. You have to sometimes break the balance. Fearful for a second there, like, lockers as well.
Yeah, that looked kind of scuffed for a moment, but I think with that hook, that will secure Monarchy's set and match win. So very well played to Monarchy. Game not quite over yet, though, as we can see what this Adam's got in store for this artist.
Yeah, and looks like Slow going to be kind of zoning out Shaq here, making sure that Adam's not setting up for the hatch escape. I do want to point out here, A, there goes Adam. B, Exegate's once again near the shack for some reason. I'm not sure if maybe this is new spawn logic, but it seems to be kind of consistent over these last 4 matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been so... Doors can always be so very good shot from Slow, but I was going to say the doors are always going to be so make or break for Suffo and ARP as well as resting place because of it being such a chokehold map. It just all depends on the end game where you have your hooks and stuff, where it can be either really good for the killer or really bad for the killer.
Yeah. And these instances has been pretty beneficial for the killer, to say the least. We do see the Jill here, and it looks like this will be the last chase, lest the Adam have a Unbreakable in hand. And looks like trying to make the best of a bad situation here, as Jill will pre-drop that pallet.
Yeah, trying to have, just a final good chase for the viewership here. Jill actually giving this artist a run for her money and taking good distance here and giving us a good final chase for the match.
Indeed, and yeah, Adam's still on the ground. I'm willing to bet no Unbreakable in play, and we're back at this LT wall. It has not worked out well before. I doubt it's going to work out well again, though there is that flashlight, but unable to get the hit.
Yeah, Jill somehow doing a great job running this tile, and just time and time again has been wasting so much time there. What a juicer! This Jill is such a juicer when it comes to the artist. Really well played.
Yeah, and with that pallet drop, should be able to get the pickup, but looks like will end up going down.
Yeah, really good couple of runs here from these survivors. They had some decent chases too, but in the end, the pressure from the artist was just too much to handle.
Yeah, indeed, and that there will be the end of this match.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, this was just such an exciting match to watch. There was a bit of back and forth a couple times there. The Pyramid Head match was going so well for the Killer as well, and just both teams played this very well, especially considering it was 2 3-gen maps in a row. How that can be very taxing on someone's brain, and like their mental can get broken so easily because of how long and grueling these games are.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, we'll not have to worry about that much longer, as that there will be the end of this match. And once again, congratulations to Monarchy for not only the set win, but also the match win as well.
Yeah, GG's Monarchy.
And good games to Survivor Bots, really well played across the board, both survivors and killers alike. But with that being said, we are going to be ending here. However, we do have another match in just 27 minutes. And Juke, I believe you're going to be here with me as well.
Yep, I will be here for this next match, which I'm very excited about.
Awesome, awesome. Well, with that being said, guys, as always, if you did enjoy the show, make sure to leave a lurk, as we're going to be running some ads and kind of hanging out in chat. So feel free to pick our brains about the meta and the like here over on Champs of the Fog. But before we do go, as a reminder, we are partners Stream for a Cause. We are words sometimes don't happen, but we're partnered with Stream for a Cause. They're a nonprofit organization here in the United States that support a litany of different causes, including refugees in Ukraine, Going Green initiatives, the LGBTQA plus community, and so much more. With that being said, we'll be back in just a bit. Bye-bye!